What is up, my friend? Keala Kanae here, and would you agree that in a fast-paced world like we live in today, there's this increasing mounting pressure to get more done in less time, right? And at the same time, it's very easy to get busy and yet not necessarily be effective, right? Those two things are not the same thing. And so if you would like to know how to get more done while still scaling back your time, ramp up your productivity but still have a life, move the needle in your business but still retain your sanity, then stick with me here in this video. I'm going to share with you a very simple productivity hack that'll take you just a couple of minutes per day, but will rapidly change your business. So hang with me until the very end. Right now, today, you can make a decision that changes your life and go out there and get what you came here for. All right, so in this video, we're gonna talk about productivity. I'm gonna share with you a very simple thing that I've applied to my business. I apply to my day-to-day life every day for the last couple of years, and it's helped me rapidly ramp up my productivity while, again, scaling back my time. Now, before I get into that really quick, I just wanna remind you that if you're liking the content, if you're liking this video, if you're liking the stuff on this channel, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know, what did you like about the video? What did you get out of it? What are your questions? Where can I help you more? And take the time to like the video, and of course, click that little bell notification and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you are able to get notifications about future content that I'm rolling out to help you get results in your business. And at the very least, if you like it, right? That's just fair. Now let's talk about productivity. If you've been in business for any amount of time, you've probably experienced what I'm about to share with you next, right? And that is that oftentimes we get so, we're inundated in today's society, right? You're probably getting emails and Skype messages and Slack messages and messages and notifications from your project management app and maybe Facebook messages and Instagram messages. And when all of that information is coming at us, it can be very easy to get wrapped up in thinking that everything is urgent and getting very busy because we start trying to tackle things as they come up. And yet at the same time, we're not necessarily being effective, right? In other words, we get caught up doing what's urgent and forget about what's important, right? We sacrifice what's important for what's urgent, and nothing could be more dangerous to the business than that, and nothing will drive you more crazy than that. There's nothing worse than working more than you've ever worked, but not seeing your business necessarily grow. It's one of the most painful things to go through. Ask me how I know, right? And so I'm gonna share with you a quick little exercise I do in the mornings that's, again, help me focus on what's urgent and important and focus on the things that move the needle in the business. And it's really helped me get rid of a lot of stuff that I should not be doing, but until I use this exercise, I've always found myself doing them, all right? So let's go ahead and dive in. The concept I'm gonna share with you here in this video is something I call the productivity quadrant, okay? And it's very simple. So pretty much every morning, what I do is I pull out my iPad, I have my task list, right? The things that I wanna accomplish for the day. And it's great to start the day with a list of tasks. Typically, things are gonna pop up through the day as well that are gonna, move that around a bit. And at the end of every day, we're gonna have some tasks that are left over that get pushed into the next day. The challenge is prioritizing these things in advance so that we don't end up spreading out our time equally amongst all those tasks because they're not all equally important. That's the thing. And so this will help you codify what's important, what's most important to your business and what's not, so that you focus your time on the things that move the needle. So in the mornings, I take my task list, I pull out my iPad, and I draw a little quadrant like this. And in the first basically what I want to do is I want to categorize all of my tasks. Up here, I'll put things that are urgent and important, meaning these are both time sensitive, there's a deadline of some sort, they need to get done by a certain time, and they're critical to the long-term success of the business. There's lots of things that we feel are urgent, but they're not critical in the long run, right? Hey, so-and-so, I need your answer about whether or not we're gonna work together on this project by this date and time. It's like, okay, that's urgent, but is that really gonna move the needle for me in the long run? Maybe it's not necessarily important, right? So there are tasks in your business that are important, that they must be done on a regular basis, and they drive the success of the business. And occasionally there's tasks that are also urgent and important. So those go into quadrant number one. The next is important, but not urgent. So these are things that are important to the long-term success of the business, the longevity and the health of the business, but they're not necessarily urgent. There's not a critical deadline that needs to be met right away. And so they haven't quite moved all the way up to the top of our list, but again, they're critical. They must get done for the long-term success of the business. And then in this quadrant, I'll put the things that are urgent, but not important. So these are the things that have a deadline, that have that are on a timeline of some sort, that seem somewhat urgent, and yet at the same time, they're not important. They're not going to contribute to the long-term success of the business. They're things that I feel maybe compelled to do to help a friend or to help a colleague or to help a team member or something like that. They feel, time sensitive, and I feel, pressured to get it done. But when I think about it and I sit back, actually, it's not that important, right? Nothing's going to change in my business if I don't necessarily do it. I might just feel bad about not doing it for no real good reason in the long run, right? So it's important that we put those things there. And then there's the not urgent / not important. So things that end up on our task list because we think we should do that, I ought to do that, I'm supposed to do that. And then when you look at it, it's like, wait, it's not time sensitive and it's not important at all to the long-term, value of the business, right? And so typically these things I want to either delegate or eradicate, right? Anything down here, I want to delegate it or eradicate it. So I either want to assign it off to somebody on my team where it's a better use of their time, or, I want to get it off my calendar completely. I want to get it off my plate completely. It's just not worth my time to spend my time on. I want to focus the priorities. The priority for my day is here, right? I want to focus on getting the things done in this quadrant and making sure that we get things done in this quadrant. So these are really where I'm going to focus my time, right? So getting things done that are urgent and timely and time sensitive, and they're important to the long-term longevity of the business, and getting the things done that must happen on a day-to-day basis that aren't necessarily super urgent, but they drive the longevity of the business. To give you an example of this so you can sink your teeth into the concept, right? I was just recently talking with one of the sales managers on my team. And one of the things that we do is every time a new customer comes through our front door, we get on the phone and we have a welcome call with them. Somebody on my sales staff calls them and says, hey, just want to welcome you to the tribe. Thanks for getting started. I want to make sure you got all your logins and blah, 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 blah. And we offer them that human touch so that they know that there's real people on the other side of that transaction that they just made. It drives down our refunds and it increases the likelihood that they're gonna get on the phone with our salespeople in the long run and upgrade to more products, okay? So it's not necessarily urgent. It's not necessarily, it's not like it's super time sensitive. It has to be done right now, this minute. It's happening every day, all day, right? So those are our welcome calls. And then we also have our actual sales calls, right? Our calls that with clients that'll go from 45 to 90 minutes depending on the content. And those are where we're offering other top tier products or long-term coaching packages or higher ticket offers or whatever it might be. And recently I was talking about somebody on my sales team, and I said, hey, I've noticed that these the booked call numbers have gone down. So in other words, the amount of front-end sales who book a call. I noticed that the people who book a call, that number has been going down a bit. Can I just ask, are we still doing the welcome calls? And she says, actually, no, we kind of dropped that ball for a little while because there were so many people coming through the front door. I needed an extra person taking the sales calls, so I moved them off of welcome calls, and nobody's doing the welcome calls right now. And I said, I understand. Do you know that when we do the welcome calls, you can actually directly tie that back to revenue, right? That you can see that when we do welcome calls, we get this much more, or this percentage more people who book a sales call, and this much more people who buy. Every book call booked is worth X amount dollars more. Did you know that? Off of a simple welcome call? She says, well, no, I hadn't seen those numbers before. And I said, oh, see, so what happens is you felt pressured to do what was urgent, right? To get somebody else on the phone for the sales call, and you sacrificed what was important to do it. Do you understand that? She said, yeah, I can see that now. I said, so you need to figure out how to make sure that both what is important gets done and what is urgent gets done. We don't sacrifice what's urgent, or we don't sacrifice what's important for what's urgent around here. Is that clear? She said, yep, I'll get somebody right back on those welcome calls as soon as today. And so just a perfect example of when we get so wrapped up in, oh, I need to get all this and this and this and this done, and there's this increasing intensity, this stress to fulfill something, right? And yet we forget and set aside the things that are important on a day-to-day basis that help us succeed in the long run, right? And again, it's short-sightedness. People oftentimes get so wrapped up in what's gonna help me right now that they forget about the big picture, the long game, right? So don't be one of them. So again, I take my task list every morning. I have a list of tasks and I put them into one of these 4 quadrants. This stuff I want to delegate or eradicate. This stuff I want to ensure that it gets done. All right, so hopefully that makes sense to you, and hopefully this helps you. It takes just a few minutes every morning, and again, it can ramp up your productivity while again focusing your time on the things that actually get the needle moving in your business. I hope you got value out of this. Drop a comment down below. Take time to subscribe to the channel. Click that little bell notification. Like the video. Do all that stuff and more, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video, my friend. Take care. Bye-bye.